Okay, hello everyone. Tony here, hope you're well. Now you'll remember Wood Street. That was a week ago today. We painted half of this picture. Now Wood Street is a plain back street, quite dingy and uninspiring, but on the day I took this picture, it was resplendent with colour, vivid perspective, dark shadows, bright details, and a bit of life. It looks a daunting subject for a watercolour, full of contrast and complexities, but I did promise to break it down to three major steps. A basic drawing, large colour blocks, and simple detail. Now we've completed the first two steps, as you see here. This is as far as I've got, this is as far as you've got. So let's finish it. Now we have established the perspective lines with the vanishing point on the coral sign, which is there. We've painted the large plain blocks of colour, the sky, the buildings and the street surface. Now already we have contrast. The buildings to the right have thrown a deep shadow across the street and up the side with a wet in wet fuzzy border. Now we'll add to that detail windows, rooftops and chimneys and more shadows. Now we've already done the fire escape. Everybody did well there, not easy. This appears to be floating, but its shadow, when we do it, we'll fix it to the wall. Shadows always do that. So here we go. I'm using 3 brushes, a small mop brush, a number 8 synthetic and a detail brush. That's all. Right, now if I go quiet it's because I'm choosing and mixing colours, or maybe I've nodded off. Now if I remember, I'll tell you what the colours are as I go along. So, and also if the picture shakes, it's because I've hit my head on the camera, which is right in front of my forehead. Okay, so just a second. Right, first of all, I'm going to add some colour variations to the sides of these buildings. These will be slight variations of what was already there, slightly darker, maybe a touch of blue here, raw sienna there, etc. I tend to use what's lying in my palette, which I'll show you. All this stuff as you mix it up, it's useful. Remember to use lighter tones in the distance, and don't forget it will dry paler. So I'll do that now. Okay, hold on. Tiny bit of raw sienna. It won't be very visible, but it will, when it dries, it just gives you that odd variation. A bit darker, not too dark. That's okay.
Given the coronavirus around and about, of course, but we are trying to provide some kind of continuity, and we're here for now, and we hope to stay around as long as we can. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, said the UK is drawn between the need to keep life going and the necessary imposed isolation we face amid the pandemic. Speaking during a recorded virtual Sunday service broadcast across 39 local BBC radio stations. An earthquake has rocked Croatia's capital Zagreb, damaging buildings and leaving cars crushed by falling chunks of masonry.
Okay.
Also in the news today, South Korea has reported the lowest number
Very much darker down here.
since infection rates peaked 4 weeks ago, fueling hope that Asia's worst outbreak outside China may be.
Okay, let that dry.
And shoppers in the have been told to be responsible and think of others, such as NHS workers.
Now for some more contrasting detail. This will bring your picture alive. So now before I start this, you may have noticed I've added some pencil lines to guide the position of the windows. This is because they should obey the rules of perspective. If they don't, they'll all look a bit weird if they're all floating around. They need a little bit of regimentation. Just a second. Now the windows on the pale building to the left I suggest will be grey blue, not too dark. Use a medium brush. Just paint rectangles sitting on the lines. So
a few little tips here. We're doing these every day, of course. Should I take vitamin C to help my body fight off the virus? It says vitamin C does help support our immune system. And one study found
you can paint over the dark lines of the fire escape. Just do it once, it won't pick up. If you go over and over, it will. Got a window missing there. Now I'll continue with this colour for the shadow, because if it was darker it wouldn't be right. Hope you're still listening. If you're still watching, you can always pause this and go away and catch up. Switch it back on again, of course. I think that's good enough. So I'm going to carry on with a darker colour now. These smaller brush as well. I'm not even looking at the photograph, I'm just going for it. These are really tall windows at the bottom here. Runs down into the shadow. There's very little detail here, so I'm actually exaggerating I don't think there is a window there. Well, I'm going to put one in. I'm going back to put some darker shadows in round these. It's not quite dry, the previous coat, but it doesn't matter. Okay.
This is Justine Green. People who are ignoring advice to stay a safe distance of 2 metres from others have been condemned as very selfish by the Health Secretary Matt Hancock. He's indicated that
okay, done building. Going to carry on.
The Welsh Government says it will force caravan parks to close if people keep travelling to rural areas during the outbreak.
Only
Multiple deaths have been confirmed in
two
Wales,
windows.
bringing the total there to 16.
Now,
Our Wales correspondent, Holger.
these windows in the distance are getting very close together now.
The Welsh Government says it's prepared to use its powers to force people to stay away. That may include closing down caravan parks, many of which are in rural areas with already limited hospital capacity. West Wales leisure centres are being prepared to offer hundreds of extra NHS beds, while a
Couple of 4
Scarlet
pipes.
playground in Llanelli has also been offered for use if hospitals become too full.
The number of coronavirus deaths in Scotland has increased by 4 to 14.
Rooftops.
The National Trust had so many visitors over the weekend that it's reversed its decision to open its gardens and parklands for free during the outbreak. Justin Albert,
A chimney there.
they had to make a
Love
difficult
chimneys.
decision for the greater good.
That looks okay. Straighten that up.
And, you know, we took the decision really desperately, sadly. This is what we do. We look after beautiful places.
Now this rooftop, complicated. Just simplify it.
We have to do it, and we have to now say, please do not come.
Italy, the worst
A little bit of
country, reported a surge in
whimsy doesn't go amiss at times like this.
51 people died yesterday, bringing the total there to almost 5,500. Professor Giacomo Grasselli from the University of Milan is warning people in the UK to stay indoors.
It's like a collective suicide. If you look at the forecast of epidemiologists, and you know that if we leave this
So you can see how these
go like
details just
we can expect more deaths
bring it alive.
in Italy, for example. The only way to cope with this is to change our behavior.
The first UK patients have been enrolled in a clinical trial for possible treatments for COVID-19.
So just pause and paint and come back. I'll keep going.
Drugs, including ones used for HIV, to see if they're effective with patients admitted to hospital. Some breaking news in the last few minutes. The former First Minister of Scotland, Alex Salmond, has been cleared of attempted rape and a series of sexual assaults after a trial at the High Court.
Alex Salmon's being cleared.
BBC News, fingers crossed.
Thank you, Justine.
Well. Leave that. This is okay. Got a miss with these windows somehow. So that one is a little bit out of place, but never mind. Oh, and there's a big door there. Notice that. Right to the ground. There's probably a step there, so I'll come back to that. Right. Now this building in the distance, special treatment, it's quite a distance, so I'll just dumb these windows down a bit. I've got good space in there, but never mind. And a blue sign. Nice bit of colour there. Right. Carry on this side. Now this is altogether darker. This I don't know what all this is. I'm just guessing at this. Some fire escapes, some stuff. There's junk kicking around up there. Now this is fairly plain, so I'll just give it a little bit of character. Okay. Really dark this. It's virgin on black. Windows almost edge on. They all seem to be higgledy-piggledy.
Senior underwriter, and she's also getting married to her fiance Johnny next year. My son Alex, he's 26, is a professional golfer. He's just bought his house with his girlfriend Vicky. Team golfer too, and a member of my local golf club where
I'll avoid this
most of the tunes are
this no entry sign.
memory of days gone by, parties or family members. For one reason,
I didn't make provision for it in the first place, so later I might have to clean this up to try and make it more white. So it's brighter. Okay, happy with that. I'm going to put some more, change the brush, more shadows and detail across this, across the street. There's a bit of light has come onto the street there. I'm not sure how it's got there. And it's a curious thing because it goes up this little wall. It doesn't go up to the top though. So how that has got there, I really don't know. Strange. But the camera doesn't lie. So I'm told. Bit of character. Just hit the camera, wobble wobble. Let's have a quick drink. Don't want to overdo this. So some little detail on the pavement, goes around the corner. I think it must have rained recently. It's quite shiny, but that's nice. I quite like that. So we're doing for time. Oh, we're doing fine. Where does that come from? There's a pigeon, another pigeon. So how's that looking? It's looking pretty good. I decided not to do this full pipe. I think detail right at the edges like that is to be avoided. I'm not going to do the graffiti. I'll put in some bins, just a hint. That's a blue bin, I don't know why. Okay, likewise down this side. Right, so I'm fairly happy with that. Now it would be finished, apart from these striking details which I want to put in. So we've got no entry sign, we've got yellow lines, we've got white lines, we've got people, we've got cars. What shall I do first? Let's put the people in the cars. I'd like to bring the people forward. So you can see what I'm trying to achieve. There's a one-legged man there and it looks like his mother. So I want to bring them forward so they're more prominent. So let's the head, because the perspective point is about there, we're slightly below that with the head of this guy, but it won't change much. If he corresponded with the vanishing point or the horizontal line, his head would stay in the same position. So okay, let's stick his head there. And his mother. It's there. She's carrying a bag. He's got a big coat on his one leg. Yeah, not brilliant, but that'll do. There's actually some more people. Looking a bit sinister. I'm going to put a couple of cars in here. Better. Just a hint. That's all you need to do. Just adding some more detail at the bottom of these buildings. Don't know what it is. I don't really care. Don't overdo it. Okay. Right. To do this stop sign. Just getting some red on my brush. Right. Okay, it's not very vivid, but it is in deep shadow, so it's not very horizontal, that. But it'll have to do. I'm using this little brush an awful lot, but seems to be doing the trick. The post should be paler, but that would be a problem, so I'm going to do it darker. Nice and straight.
And also, if you know somebody who's on their own and self-isolating, do a shout out for them. Let them know you're thinking of them. And if you want to give a mention to friends who are vulnerable, that would be good too. And let us know about any acts of unbelievable.
Let's go over that.
And what are you doing at home? If you're self-isolating, steve.wright at bbc.co.uk, text 88291 or tweet us.
It's got the light on top. Okay, now the yellow lines. I'm going to use a bit of Naples yellow. Now this is quite dense, so it might just look okay on the top. This bit. Looks great so far, but I know it will dry. It will dry darker. Look at it, not very parallel, so I don't have to worry too much about draftsmanship here. Oops, said he. Keep sticking the wrong yellow on my brush. Right. This will be brighter because it's got some white. Just a hint. White lines. Again, they're not in bright sunshine, so it should look okay. I'm not sure these will actually be on the picture when I put it in a mount. So even these should obey perspective, pointing to the coral sign. I'm going to do another because I think that will be off the picture. That's okay. We've got various lines going across, shines. These look like, I don't know, reflections from somewhere. They look a bit odd. Bit of darker colour. Do a bit of magic on the sky. Give him a face. And his mum. How's that? Now, I'm going to create a bit of sunlight. If only I could. Because I omitted to do that right at the beginning. Oh, it shines up on this wall. Okay. A couple of lines across. Okay. The pigeon I promised you. One in the distance. Are we done? I could fiddle with it now for hours, but I'm fairly happy. I just hope this camera's still going. I haven't run out of battery. I haven't even looked at it. So then I've got to post it round. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I think that's. Oh dear. Here I go. I don't know. I could mess with this, but I won't improve it. Yeah, these ledges